G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. So I had geez, there's a big spider in my workshop. I'm not used to that. Just give me 1 minute. Right, now I feel a little bit more comfortable in here. There's a huge huntsman in here. One of the big ones. Anyway, I've had a really annoying day today. I went to JCar this morning, and I forgot to take my shopping list with me. So I came back with the 2.2k resistors and a few other things I needed to get, but I forgot to get the Zener diodes. So then I grabbed my shopping list and went back to JCar the second time on push bike. The first time I went via taxi. I wasn't going to pay for a taxi again. I rode there. I came back home and realised the Zener diodes were not put on the shopping list. So that really sucks. I did, however, remember to get flush cutters to replace the ones I broke a few videos ago. Anyway, as you can see, I fitted the resistors. I did actually, this is the next thing that really annoyed me. I took a video, a whole lot of explaining stuff that I'm going to do to this, fitting the resistors and all that. And when I joined it together, it ended up upside down, and then some parts of it were like taking up like a small portion of the screen. I couldn't upload it. I couldn't do that to you guys. So I've got to do it again. Obviously, I'm not going to redo the resistors again. I mean, you can see the 2.2Ks are in there. I think the ones that originally were in there now, I think about it, maybe a 3/4 watt resistors. Because I've got some 3/4 watt resistors and they look about the same size. Well, they're 1 watts anyway. 1 watt resistors I put in there, not 2 watt, 1 watt. And a couple of the traces did lift when I changed the resistors, so I have fixed that problem. There and there, same place on both resistors. The board was that baked there, it's just basically falling off and turning to flake. What else? So I've been doing some thinking, and well, for one, with the Zener diodes, it's going to be hard for me to accurately measure them, and also I don't know if I really want Zeners in here, and let me explain why, but let me talk about the Zeners first. I don't even know what type of Zener they are. I don't know if they're hard knee Zeners or if they're soft knee Zeners. I don't know how many milliamps they require to conduct, or if they've even been used in that configuration. They could be using it to drive a transistor hooked up as a comparator, driving a series pass element with a feedback loop. I don't know how it's being done, so that's what I'm going to look into. And let me get to the reason for this now. We're going to basically take out the compensation capacitors for all these LM301s and the LM301s, and we're going to make up an adapter board. Not adapter board, adapter socket, or whatever. I haven't even really worked out what I'm going to do yet with that, but we have to make them pin compatible because they're not just drop-in replacements. Given that these are so much more accurate in terms of literally everything than them, especially with input offset voltage, temperature drift, all that sort of stuff, I would really like to get rid of the Zeners and make it reference based. Now I think this is sort of like a Zener reference, so not as a shunt configuration, but as, like I was saying before, 2 transistor Zener regulator basically. I think that's probably what they're doing, and that is way more what's the word for it, accurate. But what I'm thinking about doing is taking some measurements to see how much current's flowing through there, reverse engineering that little part of the circuit, and I may potentially, if it's doable, replace them with TL431As or Bs even. Like I said, I just have to reverse engineer that part of the circuit. But that's what's happening. So I'm sorry that I didn't get to take you along for the ride as I was soldering the resistors in and talking about things, but I think I've covered pretty much everything I was talking about now anyway, so everyone should be up to scratch on that. And oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. The reason I was getting different measurements on different Zenas, for those of you that don't know, is different Zenas take different levels of current to conduct in their whatever mode that they're conducting in. Zenas have two different modes of conduction depending on how big or how small their voltage is, basically speaking. But anyways, I digress. The thing I'm trying to get at here is, I don't know if they're hard knee Zenas, I don't know if they're soft knee Zenas, I don't know what current they're taking, so I'm going to do some investigation, some reverse engineering, and hopefully convert this to reference based. So it'll be a much nicer power supply. It'll be way quieter with those op amps and references in there, plus the capacitors that I'm putting in and the ones on the output at the front. This thing's going to be pretty quiet. It's not a nicely designed power supply for back in the day. It was probably already pretty quiet. So I'm going to go ahead and take some measurements and reverse engineer stuff, and I'll upload this just so everyone knows what's happening, because I was going to upload a video today basically doing the Zenas and the op amps, and I ended up making 2 trips to JCar and not even getting the Zenas, and all I've ended up doing is replacing the resistors. So I thought I'd just pop on here and fill everyone in, and yeah. But hey, I mean, it might not be a bad thing in the end anyway. I'm still going to go get those Zenas anyway, because when I looked in my drawers, like I said, I was like, I've got one of one value and none of the other, so I need to top up a couple of values. It's not just those. So I've made a list of Zenas that I need to buy. So I will be going back tomorrow to get them anyway. But the point is, I want to make this reference based. So I'm going to start doing that now, and I'll upload this video so you guys know what's going on. And yeah, I'll see you soon. I'm sorry if I've disappointed anyone here. I really meant to basically get a day's work done on this during the day today, and I ended up, like I said, wasting my time going to JCar twice, and yeah, anyway, it is what it is. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.